Hello, selected listeners. Selected News is back. Yes, we still have budget problems, whatever, but you know what? We're gonna do what we do. We may even have some new faces, but we're gonna get this thing started. Part 2, Selected Easter Story. We're gonna have new energy. Ed will be hosting or anchoring the news desk. That's right, Ed. And he's gonna do it like only he can do it. And Blaze is here and we're gonna be doing some recording, but it sounds like he is getting ready to go and we're gonna have to stop him before he leaves because he is part of the best news team on earth. Let's catch him because I hear him leaving right now. Hey Blaze, where you going, man?
It's too cold. It's too cold. I'm going back to Florida.
Well, you know, we got an Easter story we got to shoot.
Every time I come up here, my whole face and my fingers, I can't feel nothing. It's cold. I'm gonna do Easter in Florida.
Man, look. We can't afford no bus ticket, no airplane ticket, no Uber.
I'll walk.
Today is my day to shine. I'm going to be anchoring the news report. So let's see how this light looking. Let me see if I can get this video done. And boy, you know, I'm just so. I know Rod and Blaze are going to be freaking out over this video that I'm doing. They doing the green screen and all this stuff. But Ed is going to do it live. Okay, the weather is it's like 82, 83 degrees here in the Bahamas. Nice and sunny. Oh man, I'm loving this weather. I just talked to Rod just the other day, and you know, he's telling me how cold it is in the States. In fact, my sister's in Michigan, and it's snowing over there. But anyway, that's enough running on. I'm just happy to know that I'm going to be anchoring this portion of the news.
Well, we kind of expected this, but we're gonna get him focused throughout this Easter story part 2. But right now, Ed, we need you to focus. We need you to change. We're gonna go back to Ed right now.
Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Ed from the Bahamas, and we here at Selected Ministries are going to bring you the best news coverage in the world. In this series, we will be focusing on Easter part 2. So let's kick it to Rod and see what he has to say. Rod?
Thanks, Ed. But before we go any further, can we get a check on Blaze just to see how he's doing? We haven't heard from him nor seen him in a few days, ever since he left Marietta to walk back to Florida. Can we get a shot or something on his status?
Florida. I'm back. It's hot. Oh, it's hot. Oh God. But I'm back though.
Yeah, Blaze. She come to Bahamas where it's always hot. Let's get into Roger for the next story.
Okay, it's good to know he's alive and well. That's all we needed to know. Okay, so we're gonna get into the story now. So we're gonna pick up in chapter 26 of Matthew, and we're gonna pick up from verse 57 and we'll go through 65. So Jesus has been betrayed by Judas with a kiss. The angry mob have taken Jesus to Caiaphas, the high priest, and the Jewish leaders they want Christ killed. They want him dead. They don't want him around any longer. So they're trying to find false witnesses to say that Christ is just going around lying. Okay? Bottom line is they couldn't find anyone. But then 2 came forward to give false testimony against Christ. They said Christ said that he's going to tear down the temple and build it back up in 3 days. Now they're talking about a physical temple. A temple can't be broken down and built back up in 3 days. However, we know that Christ was talking about himself. He was the temple. He was going to be crucified, but he was going to rise again. But, you know, this was all the Jewish leaders needed, okay? They were trying to get him killed. They were like, blasphemy, blasphemy. But Christ, he answered like only the true Son of God could. Let's go to verse 64 of Matthew 26. Jesus said, "You have said, nevertheless I say to you, hereafter shall you see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven." That, the Jews didn't want to hear this. They were crying blasphemy. They were tearing their clothes and, as we would say, acting a fool. Jesus had brought the smoke, so to speak. Jesus just said, look, when you see me, I'm going to be coming in power and I'm going to be coming in the clouds of heaven. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. The Jews had had enough, okay? We're going to go to Ed in the studio, and we'll continue with this story in just a minute.
Let's kick it to Larry for the next story. Selected Ministry doesn't exactly have the budget for lights, and it's dark here. So since Rod is the busy one, let's go back to Rod. Rod, what you got for us?
What is going to happen? It's a gloomy day, I can only imagine, for Christ, as it is here now. Will he be found innocent, or will he have to carry the cross?
Well, as you can see, the news desk is gone due to lack of payment. And unfortunately, Larry will be unavailable because I guess he saw the contract and he sees he's not going to be paid. So we have a new correspondent, Dave, in Los Angeles. So let's kick it over to Dave and see what he has.
In the courts of men.
Well, thanks, Ed. You know, as Jesus was on trial in the courts of men by Caiaphas and the high priests, Peter, a disciple of Jesus, a man who said he would never deny him, was in the palace as well to see the trial to the end. A woman walked up to him during that trial and said, "Hey, you look familiar. You're that man that was with Jesus of Nazareth." But he said, No, that wasn't me," and denied Jesus the first time. Something Jesus predicted would happen. Now, shortly after, there was another woman in the palace around a group of people and said the same thing to Peter. "Hey, you're the guy that was with Jesus. You look familiar." And once again, Peter said, No, that's not me. I don't know this Jesus." This is the second denial that Peter made against Jesus. And he said he didn't know him, something that Jesus predicted. And another group of people walked up to Peter and said, "You're that same one. You're the guy." But Peter said, No. This is it. I'm not taking this anymore. He swore, he cursed, and said he did not know Jesus. I do not know this man. This was the third denial that Jesus predicted. And upon that moment, Peter heard the rooster crow, something that Jesus said would happen after he would deny him 3 times. Peter felt despaired. Have you ever had a moment where you thought you would never betray Jesus? Was there something you've done that you felt was against his commands, against his judgments, against his guidance? Did you feel that same despair? Well, that's all we have here. Back to you, Ed.
Dave, thank you for the Bible summary. Jesus is going through a lot, but don't forget, folks, he's going through that for us. As you can see, Selected Ministries News, we have a table now sponsored by you know who, and we appreciate it. You know, as reporters, sometimes we want short answers, but the interviewee, to get their point across, they give more longer, detailed answers. Let's go to Rod now, so he'll give us his insight on the ins and outs, the short, the long answers of the speed round. Rod?
Ed, you are absolutely correct. There are times when we're looking for a 1, 2, or 3 word answer. But instead, we get those answers that just go on
Back
and
up.
on
Back up.
and on.
Back up. Thanks.
But, you know, what we do is difficult. Just like when you were in the Bahamas, you were asking the questions and it wasn't short, it was long. I too have encountered those times. And this next story is an example of that. I wanted a yes or no, but instead, what do you think happened? It went into a nice long story.
Back up.
And I just...
Hey, back.
My bad.
It's fine.
Okay. I didn't... But he gave us facts in this next story. And that's what we want here at Selected Ministries News. Facts. So let's just go to that example right now. Here we are, Selected Ministries once more. We're at the studio here, and we have a gentleman here, and we just want to find out who he is first.
Al Calhoun.
Okay, we're here with Al Calhoun. Al, we are doing a story on Easter, particularly Easter service. We want to know if you attend Easter service or no.
Well, the Bible tells me, whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. So I want to make sure that any festival or rite or anything that I do is done to glorify God. Now, if I look back in history and see that in its origins, this does not glorify Jehovah, then I would have to walk away from it. And it's up to each man to determine in his heart and study to show himself approved as to whether or not what they're doing is glorifying God.
Okay, so is your answer yes or no? I mean, you just jumped right into it. I was like, okay, we ain't even gonna get an answer.
Good example, Rod. But let's go to Blaze.
Oh, I'm on my way to the hospital, man. Oh, I need IV and fluids. Move! Get out the way! Move! Yeah, y'all got to go to Ed. Look, that walk, it killed me.
Yeah, Rod, don't even get started with that one. Because you know, you and me both can tell stories about how our parents and our grandparents used to walk to school and had to walk everywhere. So yeah, don't run that tape, not today.
I mean, that's really just good exercise. I mean, unless he said it was cold.
It's cold.
Unless he said it was windy.
Then it was windy.
Unless he said it was hot.
Then it was hot.
Now, if he says it was rainy, okay. Really?
Then it was rainy. It's like, oh my God. Oh, move! Come on!
Yeah, Rod. I bet you the next thing you can say is, he probably had no food, no water. He might even say he didn't have no money, he forgot his wallet.
I need nutrients. And then I left my wallet. I ain't had no money.
Exactly. Or how about this? I had to go eat some berries out of the woods or something. I mean, really, man, come on now. Now, if he really had to do all that, I hope he's on the way to the hospital for real. Young people.
So I had to eat berries out of the woods. Y'all got to go to Ed. You got to go to Ed or something. Move! I gotta get to the hospital.
Yeah, Rod and Blaze. Michael Thompson, Buddy Hield, the only Bahamian NBA players, ain't got nothing on me. Man, you saw my form? I'm telling you, the NBA, here I come. But you know, Selected Ministries, we have a new correspondent, Larry. place. I hope you feel better. But for right now, let's go to Larry with his interesting take on the Easter story.
So yeah, what happens in Matthew 27, 1 through 14? Well, really, it's basically early in the morning, you know. See, the religious leaders decided they wanted Jesus executed. So basically, they took him to Pilate, you know, the Roman governor. You know, since they didn't want to have, they didn't have the power to sentence him to death anyway, you know, themselves. And what does Pilate do? He starts questioning Jesus, asking, you know, like, man, are you really the king of the Jews? And Jesus just replies, you know, like, you say so. That's it. I mean, no defense, no argument. He just stays completely silent, man. So, like, you know, Pilate tries to get more out of him.
Hey Larry, I like that vibe room. Look, I got my own 70s thing going on. But look, Dave was saying that Jesus was spat on. They have false allegations going on. And you're saying that they're trying to get Christ to give in. Did Christ break? Go ahead and tell us some more.
No, but it don't do any good because, you know, the religious leaders are throwing all these accusations at Jesus, you know, expecting him to fight back. But he doesn't. I mean, like, wow, man, you know, who does that? You know, especially in this day and time, man. Somebody call you a name, well, what you gonna do? You know? I mean, people ain't like that nowadays, man. You know, the world needs Jesus, man, for real.
Okay, so what happened to Pilate and Judas, Larry?
You know, so Pilate honestly shocked that Jesus isn't even defending himself. Like, wow, man, you know. And look, you know, Judas, oh, now, come on. Judas, yeah, let's go there. Oh, man. Judas is having a full-on breakdown, man. I mean, it's like, wow. He realized betraying Jesus was like a huge mistake. Like, he couldn't even get over it, man. Like, tries to return 30 pieces of silver, and when the priest don't care, he throws the money into the temple and runs off like a little girl in despair, crying and whining, woe is me, woe is me. Next thing you know, he ends up hanging himself. Yeah, weak-minded. Devil got in their head.
Pilate. What did Pilate decide to do? I mean, now we know how government is here. I mean, we had Judas taking 30 pieces of silver. You think money doesn't play a role in government today? So tell us some more about Pilate. What happened with him? What did he do? Why?
So Pilate just goes along with the execution. I mean, why? You know, he's a people's man. You know, he's a politician. What do politicians do? They lie. They cheat. They do whatever they can to line their pockets, to fatten up their egos. You know, just like those doggone Jewish leaders and the rabbis and the priests and all of them. You know, they did what they could do to fatten up their pockets. You know, make their egos big and whatnot. And see, when Jesus came along, he put a stop to that mess. They didn't like that. See, they became unpopular when Jesus came along, and they didn't. And now, see, they didn't like that. Nah. Pilate is stuck, man. He's like, you know, okay, I don't know what to do. Jesus isn't defending himself. The religious leaders are pushing for his death, and the crowd outside is getting rowdy. You know, like, you know, Pilate is really torn. But the pressure is real, man. I mean, you know, this thing was real. Boy, look. And that's where this section ends. Jesus silent while everyone else decides his fate. That's strong there, bro. That's intense. That is intense. Like, it's a political and social storm, and Jesus just stands there, totally unshaken. Cool, man. I mean, you know, like he waiting on an Uber or something, you know? Hey, well, anyway, listen, I'm glad to be able to share that with you guys. You know, this is Larry, you know, Larry Smooth, you know, playing a little tunes every now and then. Yeah, we're gonna do a little something on the keyboard here every now and then, but you know, we also got to drop the knowledge.
Thanks, Larry, for that interesting summary. But as you know, it is the anchor for this segment, so I'm just enjoying myself. I'm a pizza with chicken. Let's check out the other locations to see how the other guys are doing.
Oh, I can't wait for the next story. Can't wait for the next story.
Go.
Boy, if it ain't one thing, it's the next. Yeah, this is Ed from the Bahamas. The internet is down at the Bahamas office, so I tried to call Rod to see if I can get some funds, but of course he said there's no budget, no funds. So I had to come out by Popeyes, to use their Wi-Fi to do this broadcast. But also because of no funds, Rod, the next video is going to be black and white because they can't even afford color. So yeah, hopefully after this next black and white video, everything should be good. We'll have the funds and we can do more color broadcasts. So let's kick at this black and white video by Rod and let's see how it looks.
It's true. We couldn't afford to send you money for the Wi-Fi. It happens. Selected Ministries is working on that. It's also true we cannot bring you color for the next segment, as you see here. Blaze, rest. Dave, daydreaming. Larry, sleeping. But you know, when you come to me, I'm always going to have a story. Let's go to that story, and as I said, after this, we will be back in color. Let's go. Selected News, we're back. We're looking for that next best story. We're apparently in a garden, and I see who I am assuming is a gardener. Let's see if that's the case. Excuse me.
Yes,
You wouldn't happen to be a gardener per chance?
I am a gardener.
All right, all right. For our listeners, could you give us your name?
My name is Antrika.
Okay, Antrika, Selected News is covering Christ. More specifically, the Easter story. Are you familiar with that?
I am.
Okay, very good, very good. We want to take the time to ask you, do you attend Easter service or no? And if so, could you tell us why?
I do attend the Easter service. It's very important to me because every day I'm out in the garden, I'm reminded that Christ died and arose for us, and he did it by removing the weeds in our life. And sometimes, just like in gardening, weeds can look just like the plant, and it's hard to differentiate between the two. And by having that discernment and knowing how Jesus loves us and how he wants us to be better allows us to know the difference between a bad weed and a good plant.
Christ said, let the wheat and the tares grow together and he will separate them. So you all who don't go to church because you're talking about the hypocrites in the church, don't even go to church. You know, she watered that answer and fertilized it and made it just blossom. That's what we're talking about here at Selected News, the best news in the world. I mean, that answer was so profound, I don't even know what to say. All right, let's go back to the studio. I mean, I don't even know where we're gonna go after that. That was just too much. I just don't even know.
Boy, with the way these food prices going, I might have to start my own garden. But thank God we were able to save some money, so no more black and white videos, strictly color videos from here on out. So let's go to the next story. Let me see, who can do the next story? Who can do the next story? I have to think about this. The next story.
I know. Jackie, I'm already on the way. Selected News once more, where we bring you the best. And today it seems like we have a golfer with us. Let us see if that's the case. Excuse me, your name, sir?
Jeff.
All right, Jeff, it looks like you are a golfer here. Are we correct?
I am a golfer, yes.
All right, well, Selected News is doing a story on Easter. And it doesn't look like you have your green jacket just yet, but we wanted to ask you, do you attend Easter service? And if so, could you tell us why?
I do attend Easter service, but it's on Saturday.
Okay, on Saturday. Is there any particular reason why? And could you tell us why you perchance have not gotten that green jacket just yet?
Well, the reason I haven't got that green jacket is because I do not play golf on Saturday.
Is there a reason why you don't play golf on Saturday? And for those who don't know, could you tell us what the green jacket is?
Well, the green jacket is the trophy, so to speak, for the highest achievement in golf. And it's just like the World Series getting a big trophy. The green jacket is that trophy.
Okay, so Saturday would be out of the question for you to play, and so that pretty much takes you out of the tournament running.
Yes, in the week of creation, Christ actually rested on the Sabbath, and he asked us to do that also through the Ten Commandments, through the fourth commandment. And so that's why we'll probably never have a green jacket, because we rest on the Sabbath and worship, keep that day specifically for worship.
Okay, and I'm sure there are other athletes who probably fall into that same category of keeping the Sabbath and not being able to participate in those activities. But priorities are priorities. Let's go ahead and see Jeff take that championship swing. Oh yeah, that looks like a championship swing to me. They're probably glad you don't participate. All right, let's go back to the studio.
Okay, Rod, thanks for the story. So now let's go to the speed round with, of course, the best reporter ever, Rod.
Selected Ministries News, we are asking, what is the favorite part of the Easter service in 3 words or less? Can you tell us that answer for us?
The music, but I'm biased.
It's all about the music. Appreciate it.
Grandma's cooking.
Grandma's cooking.
Christ sacrifice.
Christ sacrifice. Now, we haven't heard that one, but that's a good one. Appreciate it.
Time with family.
Time with family.
Being with family.
The Easter plays.
The kids' Easter speeches. The music.
The Easter story. He has risen.
The children's speeches.
The resurrection.
Yeah, I had a fun time anchoring section 2 of Selected News. Kind of curious as to what's going to happen to Jesus in part 3 and who's going to anchor. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be me, because I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Rod and me were able to go over some ideas, and sometimes we went on the bridge to get some shots. Sometimes I had to go on the basketball court around the way. He wanted to do plenty of walking shots. He even wanted to do shots from like Popeyes and Marcos by me and stuff. Boy, I really...
Selected Ministries News. Stay tuned for part 3. We'll be talking about the Sabbath and, of course, Jesus Christ.
All right, y'all. The doctor said I need to be on bed rest. So I'm just gonna sit here cozy in South Florida, and we're gonna, wait until I'm better, and I'll give you hard hitting footage on Easter and all of that stuff. So that's next time. Right now, Pal, Ed, Larry, y'all can run this. I'm gonna be over here bed rest, because the doctor said I need bed rest.
So here we are, Selected Ministries News, dropping the clues, all right? Because we gonna do what we do's. All right, now that you done got that, keep it.
That's going to do it for part 2. Will Ed continue to host? Will Blaze recover? Who knows? Maybe Dave will host. How about Larry Smoot? How about myself? I did a lot of running around. I might need to recover myself. But look, we want you to come back for part 3. We plan to have plenty of music for you. That was a spoiler alert. Hopefully. that's the case. And it will be ready this spring, or this summer, or this fall, or this winter. But it's going to happen. And we want you to come back and see what is going to happen to Jesus. It's not looking good. Or is it? Come back. Thanks for watching.